I met a senior teacher, had been practicing like 50 years, and he initiated me into a different pranayama, and I had some really incredible experiences, seeing things that had happened before I was born, and confirming it with those people. I didn't know what to make of it, but I know that my engineering vocabulary was not sufficient to describe that experience. And so then I was faced with the decision: do yoga teaching, PhD, be a professor, blah, 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 try to do both, blah, blah, blah. No, I just finished the PhD and then went to India. What is this connection between inversions and pranayama? So a little bit of theory right now, physiology. When you invert, your center of gravity is over your heart. And this increases blood pressure in your heart. Your blood drains down towards your heart and increases pressure. The heart's response to that is higher heart rate, to push blood. I mean, there's more back force against that blood flowing, so the heart will pump more beats per minute to get the blood to where it needs to go. But last for 30 to 60 seconds in that, and your vascular system, meaning your arteries and veins and capillaries, will dilate with what's called a baroreceptor. Baro meaning pressure. So you have pressure receptors that line your vascular system, and when the pressure increases in your vascular system, they signal to the brain. There's a little lag effect, so they signal the brain processes it, signals it back to let go of the muscles that are holding the vascular system, and it dilates. So if you can last in an inversion for more than 60 seconds, the arteries that go to the brain will dilate, and the vascular system around the arms and legs will contract. And so you get more blood flow to your brain. Pranayama does the same thing. Pranayama will, if you do it properly. Now, it depends on what the outcome you're going for. For the most part, pranayama is a gateway towards meditation. And so we're looking to be able to sit still longer without being all fidgety. Fidgetiness generally will come with an alkaline body. The more alkaline you are, the more very sensitive your nerve endings are, the more responsive you are or reactive you are to emotions and any kind of internal or external sensations. And to go the opposite of alkaline would be acidic. The more acidic you can make your blood, the more pain tolerant you are, the less hungry you are. Now, the downside of that, if you stay there for a long time, the more you deplete your bones of calcium, and so you get brittle bones if you stay acidic. And so there's two ways to change your body pH: eating and breathing. And generally, breathing is a very rapid transition, and then you'll go back to wherever you were. So it's a temporary fix. Diet is a longer lasting change on your acidity, your pH, but it takes longer to take effect. If I change my diet, it might be a few weeks to months before I really change my body physiology, like what my pH is. So you take a breath, you hold your breath, you accumulate CO2 in your blood. Because your metabolism doesn't stop, you're still processing. CO2 goes into your blood. So now you have this other receptor in your blood. You had pressure receptors, but you also have chemoreceptors. And when those chemoreceptors pick up that you have a bunch of CO2 in your blood, and there's a long chain of reactions, it becomes carbonic acid, but basically CO2 acidifies your blood. When the chemoreceptors pick up that you have CO2 in your blood, it does the same thing. It dilates the arteries to your brain, heart, liver, and lungs, and it contracts the vascular system elsewhere to preferentially preserve those vital organs. Because if you're holding your breath, your CO2, it means you're not getting enough oxygen. Your body's response is, hey, we need to preserve the brain and stuff. Forget about the arms, preserve the brain. So there's a connection. We're looking to dilate the arteries to the brain, heart, liver, and lungs, and do it in a way that we don't need blood going to our extremities. I don't need a lot of physical effort in my arms and legs to do a shoulder stand or a headstand, so I don't need a lot of blood going there. And then the last thing I think was the energetics. And you might have been the only one, but I love that topic. And so we'll keep it really tangible, and this will just kind of be the end of the intro video. Let's just think of three components: the blood, the cell nucleus, the nucleus of all of your cells in your body, 70 trillion cells. And then there's the cytoplasm between the nucleus and the blood. Basically, there's a membrane around the cell. It's more or less permeable, and the cytoplasm is what transports the nutrients to the core, to the nucleus, and then transports the pollutants or the byproducts of metabolism away from the nucleus out back towards the blood. The nucleus is where protein is made. So it's very acidic. Protein's very acidic. That's why if you eat a lot of protein, your body's likely acidic, unless you do a lot of, which would be someone that works out a lot. And so that balances that acidity. Your body's only going to function in a certain range of pH. And if you go too alkaline, you have problems. If you go too acidic, you have problems. And so if you eat a lot of protein, then you need to work out a lot, like heavy panting kind of workout. If you eat a lot of vegetables and grains, then you need to hold your breath a lot, or you become very alkaline and you become a very emotionally sensitive person. This is true. If you eat only vegan food and you exercise a lot, then every little disturbance to your emotional body becomes a rippling wave echoing in your nervous system, and you just, and ask me if I've been there. I've been there, where every little thing agitated me, and it was because I was so alkaline. It's just, there's a physiology to your emotions beyond just the energetics and where's mind and all that. So you have the nucleus of the cell, very high protein, acidic. Then you have the blood. It's likely alkaline. It's a lot more alkaline. Does everybody understand pH? Like you have a pH scale, 7.0 is neutral. If you go lower, it's acidic. If you go higher, it's alkaline, or basic as they call it. Between an acid and a base, there is an electrochemical potential. That if you have an acidic solution and a basic solution, you can create a current of electricity between them. Prana. If the core of your cells, the nucleus, is very acidic, and you can alkalize your blood, you'll feel the charge in your body. I'll do a pranayama. As soon as I end this, we're going to do a pranayama, and you're going to feel it. And that might not be exactly prana, but the awareness of that, and the being okay with that, the just observation of it without getting too wrapped up in the sensation of it, is a gateway. That sensitivity is a similar sensitivity that you would need to feel something unseen. And just know that, matter around you is only that thing which stops light. The things that light goes through you don't see, but it's still there. Air is there even though it's not stopping light. There's a lot that's around us that's just not stopping light, and just because our eyes haven't developed the ability to see it doesn't mean it's not there, because we're only seeing what's stopping light. So is prana here? That's kind of an open-ended question, just to kind of leave it for you. Thanks, guys. Book me for inversions. You know you want to.